Hello, everyone. This is Grandmaster Hans Ziemann back with the chapter regarding the England Gambit, the move 1e5. Honestly, including this in the course, I think is giving way too much respect to the opening because, in all honesty, I would feel quite comfortable leaving it out and just leaving you guys to fend for yourselves. But in lifetime repertoire fashion, it should be included because I did include the Dutch, right? So the England Gambit, I think, is more of a meme opening than a serious opening, to be fully honest. And anyways, so e5, we take the pawn, and there are a few moves here, right? So you can go knight c6, you can also go d6, but the d6 first, we're going to transpose. Because after knight c6, knight f3, I've considered d6. So we can consider this the starting position in the England Gambit, where our opponent sort of start to deviate. The most popular move is queen to e7. Of course, bringing the queen out to take the pawn, very logical. And in this case, we're going to play bishop g5, and after queen to b4, we're going to play knight to c3. We're going to happily sacrifice this pawn. I think it's always a bad sign when opponents are chasing the b2 pawn. Now we retreat, and in this case, there's this famous sort of position after bishop b4, rook b1, queen c3, sacrificing the queen for two pieces and a pawn. And, again, the elitist grandmaster in me wanted to just completely ignore this because it's just, you're down a queen. In the classical game, I would hope this would never happen, but I'll show you a few ways to make quick work of your opponent. For example, if knight e5, you play rook to b3, bishop a5, we actually have queen a1, a really nice move, lining up a discovery here. The point being that if d6, we have f4, and wherever the knight moves, we're going to take on g7. Let's say f6, we go rook b5, and if bishop b6 we take, sacrificing the exchange just to open things up. The king is forced to go to f8. Then we're going to be up a queen just for a knight and a rook. I think. Wait, can I count? Sorry, yeah, two pieces. Yeah, so they have a bishop and a rook for a queen, and the king is totally open. Yeah, I think it's the position speaks for itself. That's all I'll say. Okay, there's also bishop takes e5, and a nice way to play g3, bishop g2, castles, and you're up a queen. Yeah, you're up a queen. Yep, the bishop is quite nice. The bishop is sort of stuck on c8 to the this pawn. Again, you're up material. You trade pieces. You liquidate. You simplify things because you have an extra queen, and your opponent doesn't have a queen. So it's as simple as that. I will cover sort of queen a3 is another way to play, but again, knight to d5, you take. Bishop a5 is also possible. Let's just say takes first. Now the king is forced to go to d8. And the fact that people play this and still somehow haven't quit chess yet is an illusion to me. As highlighted with the arrows, you've got knight g5, e4, bishop c4. The king is on d8. The material is equal. It's like we're not even, we have this pawn on e5, which is extremely strong. The b pawn, who cares? The rook on b7, b1 is great, putting pressure on b7. So we're not down a pawn. Our opponent should just resign out of respect. Okay, there's obviously bishop a5. We play e4, knight e7, bishop e2. And again, we're just going to castle and be like, okay, queen in a3. What's that going to, what are you going to do with the queen in a3? Yeah, the England is just ridiculous. It's I'm sorry if I'm not enthusiastic about analyzing the England Gambit because I honestly, I'm curious. I'm gonna do a little impromptu Google search. Who has made a course on the England Gambit? I would honestly just like to just shout them out personally. This is not like scripted or anything. Ending the England Gambit. Oh my God, I love it. Okay, can we have a shout out to Indrek R? Ending the England Gambit. Oh my God, this guy's great. This guy's great. Okay, thankfully there isn't a lifetime repertoire on the England Gambit because if there was, I would personally mention them and go to their comment section and link my course in the bio. So, okay, pawn chasing, not going to go well. So let's say our opponents try to go for d6. We have the nice move bishop to g5 here, saying, okay, I will take this pawn on d6, but first I want you to make a decision. You can go to d7, then I'll happily take, and now you've lost all the initiative. I'm going to develop very easily. e3, bishop e2, castles. Or you can play f6, which is sort of contrary to your original plan, right? Because if not, why not play f6 immediately? So d6, f6, takes, e3, bishop e7. We've got a few ways to develop here. Bishop e2, knight c3, castles, bishop e2, castle, f5, castles. We're up a pawn. They've got zero compensation. We up a pawn with the compensation. This is ridiculous if you play this, right? Knight d4 is an idea, I feel stupid even going into this. I feel like my grandmaster title is going to be revoked for making a chessable course and analyzing the England gambit. So in this case, bishop g5 is an important thing. Let's say they go d5, trying to provoke us to the little en passant. Pronunciation was quite nice. So we just go bishop f4, and the only thing you need to remember here is that at any point, do they try to just need to solidify this pawn. Once this pawn is solidified, then we have a free pawn, and it's a strong pawn of that. Let's say knight g7, e3 back. Let's say bishop g4. I might think simply bishop to e2, right? If you take and try to take this pawn, d5 hangs. So we're protecting the pawn. Once the pawn's protected, we finish development. GG, right? Free pawn, and it's not even it's like a central pawn, right? And even the d5 pawn is also a target as well. It's a bad position. We have the compensation as well. There's some, f6 there's a line with f6, knight c3, g5. You're so desperate to recuperate the pawn to play g4, knight d4, knight d5. Oh my God, congratulations, applause. You've won the pawn back, and now e4, and you're dead lost again because you've put your pawn on g4 and f6. I'm basically ready to play queen e2 castles where king's in the center, and checkmate will be announced soon. And it's going to not be a bloodbath. It is going to be a slaughter. Look at my correction there. I'm just skilled in my vocabulary. So this is one little tidbit to keep in mind, right? But for all purposes, let's say there's bishop g4. Again, critical to play knight b to d2. The point being that we want to recapture with the knight at all costs, right? Even e6, bishop f3 is probably still completely great, but simply knight d2, right? If knight e7, we play h3, forcing them to take. The bishop doesn't want to really go to here, because here after e3, you can't really go to g6, right? Because g4 would trap the bishop. Let's see, you think you're escaping. Oh no. Goodbye. Good night. Bishop is trapped. So, if you recapture, right, or go back to e6, we simply play e3, bishop h2, bishop e2, castles, and up a free pawn. What else do I need to tell you guys to just move on to the next chapters? Let me I just want to make sure that no one has any fear, right, of such an opening. Knight e7 is also possible. Yet again, we go bishop f4, bishop g3. Everything's safe, everything's solid, everything's protected. I suppose queen e7 is possible, but this is where we go knight c3, takes, knight d5. The only way to hold on to the e5 knight and e7 pawn is queen g6. Now we play queen d4, another move, continuing the initiative. f6, the only way to protect it, and now we simply play castles. Sorry. And now, we laugh and we point. Black has to do something about this knight. Trying to kick the knight out leads to the amazing tactic. Knight takes f6. If you take back with a queen, bishop takes on e5. If you take back with a pawn, we take on d6, bishop takes. What is up a pawn has the bishop pair. What more can you ask for? So in this case, that's just not going to work out with knight e7. And again, if you simply develop, right, as I mentioned, we're up a full pawn and it's a central pawn. So again, f6 is an interesting idea, but after this, we're just totally winning because we actually just play e4 and say, okay, take my pawn. Of course, this has been played in the database one too many times. Takes, queen h5, g6, queen e5, queen h8, winning a rook. And I just want to read the annotation here. An England player might try to convince you that this is a rook sacrifice, but that would only convince you of their madness. I think I can just end the video now, but since this is a serious course as well, I won't. I gotta be serious, right? Anyways, taking it back with the pawn, now we go bishop to c4, and like queen d5, knight g5. Let's say knight f6. Queen f6 is the best move, but let's say knight f6, knight d5, and we've got a fried liver, but the f7 pawn is already gone. And our lack of d5 pawn after d5 takes, right? And the usual fried liver you play, knight a5. And in this case, we do. After bishop d3, queen d5 castles, it's a fried liver without the f pawn and the d pawn. And the d pawn makes the bishop sort of just free. The f pawn certainly is not going to be helping black's king safety. Next, we're going to go knight to c3. The initiative is just ridiculous. Knight on a5 is looking so stupid. Black's king in the center. We have a huge lead in development. The position really speaks for itself. So, okay, you can try queen f6, and I believe that this transposes. I believe we analyzed this. Sorry. Let me go to the transposition. Sorry, no, yeah, queen f6. And okay, in this case, there's really what can't we do, right? Like the queen f6 is just in the way of the development. We can go knight c3. It's like like what can you really do, right? Like, okay, knight d5 is coming next. If you go knight e7, maybe you can even go knight g5. You can go bishop g5. You can go knight b5. Like, to me, the simplest seems knight b5, forcing king d8, then knight g5. You're gonna get like the double whammy of both forks coming together. Yeah. So forgive me for saying queen f6 was the best move. So in this case, right, we've covered sort of the critical places here, right? So obviously, your fully degenerate Amon Hamilton fans might go for this queen sacrifice, trying to be cool. I think we've cleared that that's not serious. And in all cases, the main point is that, again, we simply reinforce this pawn, which is not that difficult of a thing to do. Develop our pieces, and we're up a clean pawn, and simply play chess, right? There's not much more advice that I can give you. So hopefully that this course can also be an addition to killing the England gambit. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, despite my severe distaste of having to even look at such a disgusting opening. And thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to the next chapters much more than this one.